Welcome to my podcast, Why Didn't Anyone Tell Me This? With my guests, we are discussing reproductive health issues and health issues in more general sense, questions you may have about your health, and debunking some of the many myths we have around health. And in this series about embracing age, today it is such a pleasure to talk to the wonderful Rachel Peru in the podcast series about embracing age. Rachel is a silver-haired curve model, body confidence activist, midlife influencer, and the woman behind Liberté to Be. She began a new career as a model at the age of 46, something that she does not feel she would have had the confidence to do earlier in life. She is doing amazing work representing older women in the fashion industry and has worked with some amazing people and brands, including JDWilliams, F&F Clothing with Davina McCall, and alongside many body confidence icon Ashley Graham for Swimsuits for All. Her favourite shoots are always swimwear and lingerie, and now in her 50s, she finally feels at ease with her body, which is liberating. And if you've been following Rachel, you would have seen her giving lectures in her underwear and in bikinis, which I think is fantastic and so empowering. Rachel has built a community, dynamic community, to revitalize, inspire, motivate, and support women to get the best out of life. And Liberté to Be was created to spread some positivity around midlife and share inspiration to others who may be feeling a bit lost as they hit their 40s and beyond. Stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things in life can lead to all sorts of opportunities and bring a new lease of life to this important chapter. So we are now going to welcome Rachel at long last. We've had a few technical problems. We had to record this for the second time and the software was still not working, but Rachel's been very patient. Welcome, Rachel.
Good morning. How lovely to talk to you again. It feels like we've been planning this for months and months, and now we've had so many conversations. It's lovely.
Oh, well, I just hope that we're recording this on Zoom now. We've given up with Riverside, and it's going to be really great to talk to Rachel about her work with Liberté to Be. Now, Rachel, I'd love to start by asking my guests what led them to the career they are doing now. So please tell us more about your passion being a women's health advocate promoting positive aging.
Yeah, it's certainly not a position that I ever thought that I would be in. It was never a long ambition to be a model. I would never have had the confidence to do this in my 20s and 30s, so it was never on my radar. And actually, like lots of women, there was a catalyst. I found myself getting divorced at 40, and that kind of spiraled this whole new chapter. And a friend kindly volunteered us both to do some modelling for a local Macmillan fashion show near where I live. I said yes after several cans of gin and tonic, went on stage, did it, and I absolutely loved it. And it sparked something in me. It gave me a real boost of confidence. I came off the catwalk wanting to go on immediately. I wanted to go and do it again. I felt taller. I felt like I had my head held high, and I did that every year, just one event a year for about 5 or 6 years, and then plucked up the courage and was encouraged by other models to give it a go professionally, thinking that it might be something that I do as a hobby. I live near Leeds, so I thought if I get some nice work, it would fit in with that. And I got signed with a London agency, so it was like, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. And it's taken me down a whole new path of that I could never possibly have imagined. And I absolutely love doing what I'm doing now. And I feel like it's the right time for me. I feel like I stepped into it just at the right time for me. I didn't really have a career path when I was younger. I just kind of did lots of retail jobs to pay the bills, but no passion. And I found it later in life, so I'm loving it.
That's absolutely fantastic and so inspiring to women who may have been lost along the way with careers and done different jobs. And it's something that I'm seeing so many of the women I've interviewed for my book say that at this stage in their life, they have reinvented themselves. And you really are the epitome of that and a role model for all of us. And I did interview for my book, which was fabulous. And we've talked a lot about aging. And you are part of the growing group of women over 50 who want to encourage positive aging. So let me ask you, what is your view on aging?
Do you know what? I'm 54 and I really feel for the first time in my life completely comfortable with who I am, where I'm at in life. I don't feel like I have to compete with anybody. I don't feel like I have to prove myself, which has been really relaxing and liberating. It's a really nice stage in life. So I wouldn't swap where I am to be younger. My 40s, I felt like I was trying to prove myself to myself. It was this whole new chapter of, okay, let's see what I can do. 20s and 30s full of insecurities. So I think my 50s is a great age. And then I look at women that are in their 60s and 70s doing amazing things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not scared of that at all. Bring it on. So I feel like aging gets such a bad rap, but there's so many amazing women out there that are showing us all that, there's nothing to be scared of, and that actually this is a fantastic chapter of life. It's just different, but it's I feel like it's my time now. My kids are older, I've got the freedom to explore what I want to do in this next chapter, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up there. We have so many things that are expected from us of different decades of our life. And people say, oh, but surely you'd want to be a teenager again. Wow, no,
No.
never. No, I've got teenagers. They've got so many things and issues, and they want to achieve so much. And at our stage in life, we don't care anymore. We're just really enjoying every part. So we need to look at role models such as you and see how we can really embrace that. And 14 years ago, when you started this, there was not really a lot of positivity about aging, as you said. And now there are many models who have joined you in later life and with all sorts of body shapes. So you are in a field where, what we look at, what we look like is so important because we're looking at you as models.
Mm.
So how was it that the catwalk really changed this for you?
I think it was knowing that I am who I am. I'm not going to change my body shape to fit in. So it was for me. It was about representing myself and saying, you know what, I'm okay, and this is what I look like, and I'm happy with that, and I'm embracing it. So for me, being on the catwalk and then getting a response from other women that had recognised a woman that looked like them, that's the size, I'm a curvy size 14, 16. I've got big boobs. I'm hippie. I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be. I'm quite happy where I am. And I think just showing up as myself made a massive difference to my confidence. It gave me a huge boost of confidence to know that I was good enough for me, for whatever that looked like. And modelling has been an outlet for that, to be able to say, here I am, this is what I look like, this is what I can do. Love me or hate me, I'm not going to fit into any other box. So it's been really kind of, again, it's that word, isn't it? It's that freeing, that liberating. And I do think that's something that I've really enjoyed with aging. And it's been a journey, and I didn't start off in my 40s like that. It's taken me, the last 14 years, and I'm still work in progress. I think it probably always will be, but modelling has really helped with that.
Yes, and I can hear it when you talk about how it's just that confidence has just given you so much happiness beyond your work that you do. And it's really reawakened you, and it can reawaken many, many people, can't it, as they get older?
Yeah, and actually the confidence didn't, when I look back now in my 40s, my confidence didn't come from the modelling. It came from having the confidence to say yes to more things. I'd said no to so many things because I was scared and let fear hold me back. And then my 40s, I did a tandem skydive. I'm terrified of heights. I've done two now. I'm still scared of heights. But it was about building those kind of building bricks of confidence to say, well, okay, if you've done that, what else can you do? So then I went to I volunteered in an orphanage in Uganda, in India. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. I went back to university. I got a degree in education studies in my 40s. So I think it was all those things of saying yes to things that has really been the biggest impact on where the growth has happened. And then it kind of it helped me forget about my body hang-ups because I was enjoying myself so much in life that actually I realised it wasn't really that important.
The skydiving, I remember when you said that last time. Something that is on my bucket list, but I'm really scared of heights. So well done. And doing it twice, I think you might just be a bit nuts.
I'm not sure I'd do it again if someone asked me, Joyce, but it was definitely one of those life affirming moments that I look back and think, wow, that was an amazing experience.
And I love that. That's been that ripple effect of, you sort of fell into the modeling, and it was someone asking and having that confidence to say yes,
Mm.
and then giving you so much confidence in all the other areas of your life, which is just a beautiful story to let people know. And as we've mentioned role models already, I think role models are so important. And do you think seeing women who are doing this is really going to be important to motivate others?
Yeah, definitely. I know myself from particularly on social media. I look at women that are the kind of a decade older than me, seeing what they're getting up to, and I think, okay, this is an exciting time. What else can I do? If they're doing that, then that means that they've opened the door for other women to explore what they can do at that age too. So I do think having kind of role models, and I think social media has been brilliant for that because it's allowed women, everyday women that could be your next door neighbour, a glimpse into their life to see how they are showing up and what they're doing, which I don't think we had a chance before to do that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about social media. I know it gets a lot of bad rap, but I keep telling everyone, fill your feed with all these brilliant role models. Don't get the people who are, injecting things and doing all these
Yeah.
the weird diet thing now has gone off the scale with obviously the diet drugs and everything everyone's
Yes.
taking. Yeah, it's really gone crazy. Um, so let's talk about the secrets of looking after your health. So it's important for aging. Obviously, if we want to age, it's important to age healthily. So do you have any secrets? What do you do to keep yourself healthy?
I'll be honest, in my 40s, I didn't really do a lot. I went to the gym. I've never been a massive exercise person. I love being outdoors. So I live in Yorkshire, so I walk a lot, and I've always done that. And I used to have dogs, so that was a big help. But then when I've hit my 50s, things have changed. Now I am in the menopause. I've had to change my diet. I've stopped having caffeine because I'm a terrible sleeper anyway. So then insomnia hit, and I thought, okay, eliminate all the things that you know aren't going to do you any good. So I've cut that out. I can hardly drink any alcohol now. That's a minimum because it makes me anxious. It impacts my sleep. It impacts my mood. I'm more tired. So that's been not that I drank loads, but I've definitely noticed a shift. And also just increasing my protein. And I do go to the gym now and I've started weight training. And I'm enjoying that. I am enjoying it. I'm doing it because it makes me feel good, not for any other reason. I'm not doing it to be a certain size or to look a certain way. I just want to feel strong and feel healthy. So I am more mindful of it. And I'm sure over the next few years, I'm going to kind of increase how I change my diet to suit my lifestyle now. But I've definitely had to make some tweaks as we're going along.
Yeah, the comment about alcohol was something that came up very prevalent in the interviews I did with women. So many women feeling that alcohol now is having a different effect than it used to, and they've become quite intolerant to it. And the
Yeah.
coffee, I've heard the caffeine as well. I did mention these. I'm not going to say any brand names, but I did mention the injectable diet drugs now that are being marketed and are filling up my feed, which is really annoying.
Mm.
How do you feel about this? You're so body positive. What do you think about this for women?
I've spent literally probably about from the age of 13 to 40 on some kind of diet. I've yo-yo dieted all my life and I wasted so much time and money and energy. I get it for people. There are some people out there that do need help for their health reasons, that medically need the help to lose the weight, and I can think that's a really good tool for that if it's medically supervised. But I don't like this kind of social media thing where it's been just as a quick fix, because actually it's not a quick fix, because the minute you stop, what happens to the rest of your lifestyle? It's hard because I don't want to judge people because everyone's got to feel good in their bodies, but I don't like the way it's being pushed out as an easy fix, and it's something that is the answer to all your prayers. Because I used to think, oh, if I got to a size 12, then I would be happy. And actually, it was never about what dress size I was. It was about what was going on internally and my life and what I was doing or not doing. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because some people do need that health risk that's out there. Some people do need that help. Personally, I don't want to ever go on a diet again. I don't weigh myself. I got rid of my scales probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I've no idea what I weigh. I know when I feel comfortable or uncomfortable in my body, and I trust my own intuition on that, and I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, and it's so important of having good nutrition. And so by just taking this drug, you lose weight. But if you're not sorting out, as you said, all the aspects of your lifestyle, such as exercise, and these things are so important to reduction of so many diseases that we get later in life. It's really frustrating of people thinking of a quick fix. And I certainly know I'm like you. I've never, well, very rarely been slim. But anyway, that's another story. Let's talk about society. So quite a few of the women I've interviewed have said they feel invisible and that men don't look at them anymore. But something, to be honest, I'm not a super attractive woman or anything, but it's not something I've personally noticed. And I'm just wondering how much it's them themselves and how they're feeling. So, Rachel, do you ever feel invisible?
I don't, and I do think this, I think it's a mindset thing. I think I think it's how you choose to show up for yourself. Quite frankly, I couldn't care less whether a man looks at me when I walk down the street. It's not something that I think about when I walk out the door. But I do walk out the door wearing clothes that I love, that make me feel confident, that I feel super happy in, which then gives me that confidence to walk down the street and feel perfectly happy with myself. And I think that's the most important thing for me. But I do, I'm you. I speak to loads of women that say they feel invisible, and I think it's a shift in your mindset to know that you have a place in society, that we might not be represented on the high street, we might not see images of women that look like us everywhere, but we are out there and we are good enough, and we know who we are, and showing up as that has got to be a big plus, and to remind society that we're not past it and we are still here. I think the danger is if we say we're invisible and then we all just wear big baggy jumpers and kind of fade into grey, then society will ignore us all. But there's a big band of women out there that are saying, hang on a minute, we are still here. We are worthy of being marketed to. You take our money as consumers, but you don't show up for us. So I think there's a shift. But I do think it's a mindset thing a lot of the time.
Yes, I totally agree. I think it is a mindset. So I think if we're standing loud and proud and with confidence, I think that's what people will see. And so it's so important not to sort of shrink in.
Mm.
But society also glorifies youth and a certain body shape,
Yeah.
and this is changing. And people like you are really helping this change. But in the field of modeling, do you think it's changing quickly enough? Where are we with this change?
I think we've still got a long way to go. I really do. I think there's a lot of tokenism in the industry, particularly in the fashion industry. And I get it. We do have to start somewhere, and having a campaign where there are older models involved in brands that wouldn't necessarily have normally been used is great, because they get great feedback, and then consumers will show that there's a demand for it. But then, my experience a lot of the time is when you do these campaigns, it's not followed through to e-com. So you might see some older models in a great TV advert, but then when you go on their website, they're nowhere to be seen. So I think we still have got a long way to go to join the dots. But change is happening, but it is very slow. I do feel like ageism's the last kind of ism to be ticked in the fashion industry for sure.
Yeah, when we recorded this the first time round, you told me a story about being on a photo shoot. You were the only older model, and you were really pleased that you were there. But then they didn't actually use your images. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so there was a great campaign, but then when it came to the website, when people wanted to go and look and find the outfits on somebody that looked like me, they hadn't used it. They'd used stock photographs of women in their 30s, and you kind of think, well, what was the point in using me in the campaign? It was just to say, hey, look at us, we're using an older model, aren't we great? Well, actually, no, that's just part of it. But the really important work is making sure that we are on the website, and that we can see somebody that they can relate to wearing those clothes, that they can look and see the fit, the size. So that, yeah, it's still work in progress for sure.
That is amazing. And what I don't understand with doing that is that women of our age, we probably have more money than younger
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't understand why we have been ignored for so long, and it is slowly getting there. But then we've got the other side where there are some companies that are branding everything with menopause in front of it, which
Yeah.
drives me insane. Menopause chocolate, menopause
Yes.
tea,
Yeah.
menopause clothes. So we've sort of got that whole range, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of women's, products. It's gone a bit crazy. What do you think?
I think actually all these industries just make shed load of money off our insecurities. So whether it's about being pushed to the fact that, we don't want to, we're told we're not to look our age, so we have to buy youth enhancing products, or the other flip side of that is they're making money off the menopause label, but actually we don't need a label to tell us to go and buy some almonds from a certain health food shop that are particularly labelled. And do you know what I mean? It does feel like it's still very much a money making scheme off women's insecurities. Particularly the aging message, the youth is still, particularly the beauty industry, is still so youth obsessed. You only have to go down beauty aisles to see all the labels of anti-aging this and youth affirming, and it's like, God forbid you actually show a wrinkle and look your age. But they're making money off women's insecurities, aren't they?
They are indeed. And social media, we've mentioned already about, let's fill our feeds with the positive women, great role models. But do you have any issues with social media and broader media, and how it is promoting women, and how women can help each other by sifting through all these myths that get perpetuated about, it's I get sucked in every now and then. I have I click on something that, this cream's going to do this, and I just, what am I doing? So it's so hard, isn't it, with social media? That's the downside of it. What do you think about this advertising?
It is, yeah. And I think it's interesting because I do love social media. I've met some amazing women through it. And I love the fact that women in their 40s, 50s, 60s are showing up and showing us what today's modern woman looks like and how they behave and what they wear. And we're all different. And I fill my feed with that and I love it. But then, you only have to open certain fashion magazines or fashion newspaper columns that are there still telling us that we shouldn't wear this at a certain age and we should wear this and we should stop wearing trainers with dresses. And it's like, just stop making these rules up. Stop telling us how we need to behave. We're grown adults. We don't need your advice. And I find that patronising that they think that we should adhere to these rules. It's like they're stuck in a time warp and they've not moved on and seen how the women are actually living our lives. So I find that really frustrating.
I'm wearing a dress and trainers right now.
Yeah, I live in them. You would
I
not
love
get me
it.
back in heels during the day
Oh,
whatsoever. I am a if an outfit doesn't go with trainers, Joyce, I'm not buying it.
yeah. And every outfit goes with trainers. I
Yes.
I I have a real issue with heels, actually, and I was recently away on a social trip in Corfu, and a girl came up. We were dancing, and she came up with these heels, which she said, I can dance all night in these. And guess what? She didn't. I didn't see her
Yeah.
dance 1 minute in them. And
Yeah.
I have such a negative view about how I know women say they love heels, and I've written about it before. I think it's an absolute outrage that we have these shoes that causes so much pain.
Yeah.
And I don't believe any woman when they say they're comfortable.
No.
Trainers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, when I walk into a studio, if I'm doing a photo shoot for fashion and there's a row of heels, my heart just sinks. But when it's a flat shoe or a trainer, I'm like, yes.
And do you know, I still see women right now at conferences, they'll be wearing their trainers and then they'll sit down just before they go to give a talk, and they'll get their heels out of their bag and put them on, or they'll put them on just as they're going to dinner.
Mm.
And these are fellow professors and academic, and some people even bigger than that, and I won't name anyone.
Mm.
And I just think I think I should start confronting them and say, why?
Mm.
Why are you putting on the heels? I think it's such a negative message for women. I really do, but that's my hobby horse about the heels. And older women, I think, can be really positive. And so many of the women I've interviewed, and many more, feel that we just don't care anymore what people think. And I think that's a really good place to be.
Yeah.
That we should really encourage women to embrace the stage of their lives and embrace their age, whatever age they are. What's your thoughts about the fact that we just don't really care? We shouldn't care. I don't care what people think anymore. Someone called me challenging the other day, and I took that I think they were trying to insult me. I took that as a compliment. I think, I should. I'm 61. I should say what I want to say, not what anyone
Yes.
I think people should hear. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I am with you. And I've noticed a real shift in me in the last couple of years as well, where it almost makes me a bit it makes me push it even more. If someone tells me I shouldn't be doing something or why are you doing that, I'm like, because I want to do it. And now you've said it, I'm going to make sure I do it a hell of a lot more just to annoy you because I can. So I think I did still worry about, particularly on social media, I used to find it quite difficult showing up, especially when I first started doing lingerie posts. Um, because you are putting yourself out there and you are vulnerable. And now I really couldn't care less what anybody else thinks. I'm doing it, when I show up in my posts on social media and on and lingerie or swimwear, it's because I want to show other women that we don't have to be embarrassed or hide away at our age. We can wear what we feel comfortable in, and that's good enough. And also to celebrate my own body confidence journey, because I am happy where I am, and why shouldn't we not all be proud of our bodies, whatever age we are? And so I don't care if somebody will come, drop in. And this morning's first comment in my DMs was somebody called me a slut this morning. That was nice. That was the start of the day. He's blocked. So, you just have to laugh about it and think, your comment just makes no difference to me whatsoever. And I don't really know what they expect or what they kind of, what they're expecting me to go back and say to that, or what effect they think it's going to have on me, because it has no impact whatsoever other than to make me laugh.
Yeah. Oh my God. We just need to laugh. And it's a great story to tell people that someone called you a slut.
Nice way to start the day.
It is. We have to laugh about it. I think it's very good to laugh about it. And I also, years ago, when they ran that beach body ready, whatever it's called, campaign, that was so annoying. And I used to say to everybody, to get beach body, put on your swimsuit and go to the beach. That's all you need to do. And I did put many photos over the years of me in a bikini, and I got lots of negative comments. And but I just didn't care. So I think your work around body positivity is so important. And I think yes, I think if you're clinically obese, obviously health issues, but the whole obsession with our body mass index, our BMI, which every doctor I've ever heard has said that it's really not a valid measurement of your health. So how can we help women be body positive when they're worried about their body aging? What can we do to help women embrace it?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started this journey, I was all about being body positive and loving your body. And actually, over the last few years, I've realised, particularly as my body's changing during the menopause, it's more about body acceptance. It's understanding that our bodies do change as we change in life. Our bodies change, and we spend so much time. I spoke to a lady yesterday who said, I just don't look like I did 10 years ago. Well, yeah, that's right. You don't, but you're not the same person you were 10 years ago either. So why do we expect our bodies to stay exactly the same way for the whole of our lives? It's not going to be like that. And so I think a lot of it is learning to accept the changes and know that our body is still showing up for us. It's not what defines us. Your dress size doesn't define you. The number on the scales doesn't define you. Whether you've got wobbly bits on your arms that you might not be happy with, it's not going to change the outcome of your day. So it's learning to accept that and not to focus on it and shift that focus. And I was talking to a lady yesterday who was really down on herself, and I said, would you talk to a friend like that? If you walked in a changing rooms and you saw the lady in front of you that was a friend of yours, would you be so critical about her looking like that now? She said, well, no, absolutely not. So why do we talk to ourselves in such a negative way? So it's remembering that we're friends with our bodies and trying to make peace with that. And I think that's a really important place to start. So I think looking in the mirror every day, because I know lots of women still avoid the mirror when they're not happy with their body, and just picking one nice bit that you like about yourself, whether it's just a smile or the way your eyes look that morning, or your skin on your chest is looking glowing. Then just pick one bit that you can say something nice about yourself, something kind, and then get on with your day and focus on the rest of the day and not what your appearance looks like.
Oh, Rachel, that's really fabulous advice. And I do look at my body every day, and I feel very strong because I do a lot of gym work, and I do aerobic classes, but I do a lot of things like body pump. So my body feels so strong, and I'm really embracing that. So yeah, that's brilliant advice you've given people. And it was Emma Thompson who, in the film Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, I always forget that title, and they wanted her to use a body double, but Emma refused. And at the end, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's funny, it's quirky. Great film about aging and orgasms.
Yes, brilliant.
Brilliant. But at the end, Emma, spoiler alert, but Emma just takes her robe off and looks at her body in front of the mirror, and bumps and all. And our bodies, I think, like our faces. I've never put any needles in my face or done anything to my face, because I think it tells my life story. I think looking at people, the older people, in their faces are so interesting, and our body's so interesting. It's got the marks of our life. And so, what do you think about role models for body positivity?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pleased for the younger generation now, because there are so many people out there that are being really well represented and showing up, all different sizes, shapes, and sizes. So I wish I'd had that when in my kind of teens up to probably my 30s. So I think we're exposed to a lot more now, which is another positive of social media. But I do still think there's lots of judgment in society about sizing. I do still think that if you're over a certain size, and it's usually kind of a size 12, then you're, in the model industry, it's crazy that I'm classed as a plus size model, but anybody over size 12 is classed as plus size. I mean, how ridiculous when you think that the average size is a kind of 14, 16 in the UK. So I still think there's that stigma attached to it. I get people coming up to me all the time saying, "Oh, you don't look like a size 16." But what does a size 16 look like? Who gets to decide what shape your body should be or what you should look like? And so I think it's frustrating, but I do think we've got some good role models out there, and the more we talk about it, the more we have these conversations, the more we'll create that ripple effect.
Yeah, fantastic. And you've been doing fabulous work. Tell me more about the Liberty Lifestyle Hub.
Well, I started the podcast back in 2018, and it was at a time when really there wasn't a lot of midlife women's podcasts. And I started it because I was at the time doing a degree. I'd gone back to university. I didn't go when I was 18. So I finally got my degree in my 40s, which I loved. I loved the whole experience of being a mature student. But I was really inspired and encouraged by other women on social media that were doing all these kind of life affirming adventures or starting new careers, and we just didn't get to read or hear about them as much. So I wanted to be able to share those stories. So I started the podcast interviewing women that could just be your neighbour, that are going on and doing all these things. And I just found those stories so inspiring, and they really helped motivate me if I was having a wobble and if I was having self-doubt moments. Listening to their stories always reinforced actually that I was doing the right thing and I will be okay. So I started that. I've done 148 interviews. I'm currently on a bit of a break. I'm sure I'll go back to it, but as you know yourself, doing a podcast is time consuming. I did it nearly every single week, and I've also got other projects that I want to focus on. But I loved interviewing those stories. So the hub kind of came about from the podcast, and then other women started writing blogs for me. So I've got a blog post section on my website, and then a small Facebook group, which is really small, but it's just full of women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, all sharing their lives. And it's just a really gentle space to just be and to just keep a connection, which I really love. So I just like feeling part of that community. It's nice.
It's fabulous, and everyone can listen to your podcast. They're all accessible on your website or on, I think, all the main,
on all all the podcasts are still out there. That's the great thing about podcasts. It's just that once they're out there, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, as long as the tech works,
yes,
we've had a problem with. I love women's circles. I run a group in my town. We've met for about 6-7 years. It's called the Purple Tent, like the red tent, but for sort of menopausal women, postmenopausal women. And I love women's circles, and you have some great circles with all the work that you're doing, and one that you're doing lots of work with at the moment are 3 other amazing women to make the Yorkshire Fab 4, and you've got an event coming up next week. So we originally recorded this podcast that people could have still registered, but now it's called Find Your Midlife Magic on the 1st of October in Harrogate. And I'm so pleased that I'm coming. I'm
Yay! I can't wait.
And Siobhan and all these other wonderful women. It's going to be crazy. I'm so excited for next week. But please tell us more about the Fab 4 and I hope that you're going to keep doing the event. So tell us more about the events.
Yeah, so this is our second event. We started last year, but it came about. We're four friends that have all kind of worked with each other over the years and known each other. And we used to meet for coffee, and it would always end up with either one of us in tears or one of us sharing something that helped the other person. And it always left us all feeling uplifted and better for meeting for coffees. And we'd done another event called Silver and Sassy together, which was all about celebrating grey-haired women. And after that, we thought, well, how can we take this further? How can we reach more women? How can we take what we feel from our friendship to a wider audience? So Find Your Midlife Magic was born. Bernadette's been in fashion and styling since she was 18. She's amazing. She does all sorts around Yorkshire. Christine Talbot's been on television presenting for years. So she hosts it and does lots of the interviews. Annie Sturck, another lady, is amazing. She started modelling in her 70s. She's got a whole new career at 70, but she's had a really interesting career of food styling and TV work. So all of us have got very different skills, but we all have come together to create this really special day. And it's a day full of sharing inspiring stories. We've got Louise Minchin's joining us to talk about her adventures. Siobhan Daniels talking about Retirement Rebel, which is just brilliant. And it's just a day of sharing what it's like for midlife women, and it's full of fashion. We've got we actually met our two competition winners yesterday, so we spent the day with them. So they chose their outfits for Joe Brown, which was really exciting. So you will see two women get a complete makeover. So they wrote letters through the Yorkshire Post and had a competition. So it's just a full day. It's a really full day. It's a real treat day. And the feedback last year was amazing. So we went to a bigger venue. So we've sold out now. So we've got 150 women joining us next Tuesday. So we can't wait to bring it on now.
Woohoo! We are going to have a great day. And
yes.
do we hope that you'll have the event next year? Or
we want to grow this now. There's definitely a demand for it. So it's just it's work in progress, and every year we want to. Last year we had 100 women, so we've got 50 more this year. So, and also I love the fact that it's in Yorkshire, because lots of the events are so London centric. It's great to do more stuff in the north, so we hope to expand on that. So we shall see.
I love the north, and I love it that my son is now at York, so I'm really close to Harrogate.
Great city.
And I'm giving a lecture the day before. Actually, the Sunday I'm seeing my son in York. Monday I'm doing a lecture in Manchester to the uni that I always give, and then I've come to see you. So I've planned it perfectly.
Lovely. I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We'll be putting lots of photos. So this podcast will be coming out the day after.
Brilliant.
So everyone will see lots of pictures of us over that next week at your event for sure.
And I will be doing my body confidence talk in my underwear, just to warn you.
Maybe we should all come in our swim costume underwear. Actually, I have a funny underwear story. I was just in Corfu with lots of people doing lots of dancing, and we were on a boat, and we could jump off the boat and go swimming, and I was on a swimmer. Obviously, I did that, and I took my knickers off under my dress to put my swimming costume on, and I was twiddling them around, and they accidentally flew off the boat. So I was throwing my underwear off, and we were crying so much with laughter. And then the standing joke: can we find Joyce's knickers in the sea? So I apologise to anyone in Camos who has a pair of my
swims into them.
Yeah, my big pants appearing while they're enjoying their beach. So we couldn't find. I did look for them, couldn't find them. So Rachel, what's the most rewarding aspect of your work?
I think when women drop into my messages and say, I've worn a dress today because I've been following you and I feel so much more confident than I used to, and I've not worn dresses for years and I wore a dress today and I feel amazing. Or I've been to the beach and I've put a bikini on and I've had a great day at the beach and I've forgotten about what I look like. That for me makes me think, okay, that's why I'm doing it. That's to create that ripple effect. And I always said if I could change the way one person feels about themselves, then it's worth doing. So that's all that for me is the biggest reward. If I do a campaign, I've just been in Greece doing a swimwear shoot. I can't wait for the images to come out. So if it shows one older woman that that they can wear whatever they want to wear and feel great about themselves on the beach, then I'm all for that.
One thing I always do as well is I compliment women as much as possible. So if they look fabulous, just tell other women that they look fabulous. I think that's so rewarding.
Yeah.
And is there anything you'd say to about sending a positive view of aging for the younger generation?
I think it's just banging that drum, isn't it? And making them realise that, you don't fall off this kind of cliff at a certain age that then life stops. There's so much more to come. And actually, I think I wish I'd known when I was younger that I didn't have to have it all figured out by a certain age, that there is not this kind of tick box thing that you have to do in your 20s and your 30s. You can do it later on. I didn't go to university until I was 41. So I think it's important that we show the younger generation that there's so much more to come and it's nothing to be feared of, that actually, they've got their whole lives ahead of them. So they don't have to cram it all in and have that pressure to cram it all in.
Yeah, and they should also fill their feed with lots of positive role models.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what's next for Rachel? You're married to Mark, who has recently retired, and he just tried to help us with the sounds. I saw a bit of his arm. And you were hoping to go on a new journey together, and you were downsizing and getting ready to travel the world, but you've had to put this on hold. So tell us more about how life goes in these ways sometimes.
Yeah, and I think lots of people can relate to it. This time last year we'd put our house on the market. The plan was to downsize, pay the mortgage off, and have the freedom to go and travel and explore more, because I can work from anywhere really. I've got that freedom. And unfortunately, my mum is seriously ill, so that's kind of, and I live locally to her. My sister lives in France, so I am the main carer. So that put things on hold really, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But it is part of this age group, isn't it? That we've got, my children have actually, my youngest is just about to move out next week. So they've all flown the nest and are independent. But I still have other responsibilities. And there'll be so many other women in exactly the same position, because I know there are. It doesn't mean we won't do it eventually. It just means that right now we've just put things on hold, and we'll travel as much as we can in the way that we can that fits the lifestyle right now. But yeah, it's a roller coaster, isn't it? It's that kind of sandwich generation. It's hard for women out there that are balancing things. And just when you think, that the kids fly the nest and you've got time, doesn't necessarily mean that it's all going to work out how you want it to do immediately.
Yeah, and for some of us who have had children later, which wasn't my original plan by any means, but my kids, I'm at 61, my kids are only just flying the nest now. So I finally feel this year I'm at that stage. I can go on my adventures, but we have to obviously deal with problems that happen in our life for sure.
Yeah.
And I've asked all my guests, my podcast is called Why Didn't Anyone Tell Me This? Have you heard people say that phrase? And if so, what did they say to you?
Yeah, for me it was, why did anyone not tell me how liberating ditching the dye was? Because we spend so much time being told not to, to make sure we cover our grey roots. So, I dyed my hair from the age of about 14 to my mid 40s. And I wish I'd known that sooner, and I wish I'd been told that actually it can be a really positive thing. I would have saved myself a lot of money in hair dye.
I've told you this before, you make me think about it, but I'm not quite ready. I am totally white now, my hair, but yeah, I don't know. I'd love to talk to you about this next week, because I think for women with darker skin, it's a little bit more, it's a huge change. I think for people that had fair hair, it's not so much of a change, and looks great. There's lots of young people dyeing their hair grey, but for someone where they had very dark hair to go white, I mean, it's the total opposite. So I've got to be really brave to do it. I need to see some good role models that have done that, who are my colouring. But
and I was very lucky. I had super short hair. I mean, my hair was naturally really, really dark, like dark brown. But I dyed it every single colour of the rainbow over the years, literally from navy blue to bright red to pink, you name it, I've had it. But equally, some women don't ever want to not kind of stop colouring their hair, and that's fine. I don't. It seems to be another one of those things that society tries to divide women and pit each other against each other. So there's a real kind of divide where some women think, well, you've got to always have your hair coloured, and other people say, no, definitely go grey. Why are you colouring your hair? And I really don't care what anyone else does. It's got to be what makes you feel good. And I don't really feel like, why do we have to be divided so much on this subject? But for me, it was definitely the right decision. I love it, and the fact that I can't imagine not being this colour now, and I wish I'd done it sooner.
And you do look totally amazing. And I think that's a great way to think about embracing age. Just do what you want to do. You don't have to do what anyone else expects of you. Do exactly what will make you happy. And that's such a great message. And my final questions that I ask everybody leading on to happiness. So Rachel, what makes you happy and where is your happy place?
It makes me happy being around my family. You know, on Sunday we were invited. My daughter's just moved house, and we were invited for Sunday lunch. Being around the kids, as they're now adults, being all together, that makes me happy. That's probably when I'm at my happiest. But also being outdoors. I live in Yorkshire. It's beautiful countryside. I'm surrounded by it. That's my therapy, to get outside every day and just get some fresh air and a walk. That just calms me down. It's a bit of mindful therapy for me, getting out for daily walks. So that's a happy place for me.
So important to get out in nature. I keep saying it again and again and again. We've got to get outside and explore this beautiful planet. And the last question, you have mentioned before what you wish you'd known when you were younger, but is there any other advice you would like to give your younger self?
Yeah, I think not to let other people dim your sparkle. I spent a lot of time listening to other people's opinions of me instead of following my kind of instinct of who I was. And I feel like now I'm the person that I was when I was 16. She was always in there, but I finally worked my way of finding who I was. And it's taken me a long time. And I think that's okay too. I think we all find it at different stages in life. I have actually got a tiny little tattoo. It's two sparkles, diamond, tiny ones. And that's to remind me not to let anyone dim my sparkle, which is very cheesy, but it does work.
I love that. What a great way to finish. Don't let anyone dim your sparkle. And Rachel, you beam with sparkle. And I'm so looking forward to meeting you in person, giving you the biggest hug.
Yes.
And thank you for your patience that we had to record this twice and still ended up back on Zoom. So thanks for being so patient with you. Thank you so much, Rachel. It's been a real pleasure.
Pleasure. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.